gear models are
just they'll fucking deal with it. Relax. You're not a developer.
No, it's too much work,
you're not a developer. You don't know what's too much work. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Pull 10 podcast. Today we have Joardee with us over there and Ahmpy with us down here, the legendary raid leader of hardcore. We're going to hear all about what Ahmpy's been up to and the crazy classic plus takes I think he has that a lot of you are going to disagree with, if I had to guess, which is very exciting. Yeah, real quick update on me. I fell off an electric scooter a couple weeks ago, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I broke my clavicle and my pelvis, and it was very painful. So sorry we missed 2 weeks of the podcast. I just could not.
Scooter.
I could just not manage podcasting from a hospital bed. It was a little rough. My shoulders really messed up, and my pelvis, I have a cane. Oh yeah, straight aura. So that's.
I do want to say you look great though. I cannot tell that you are destroyed right now, but you look phenomenal.
The nurses, they moisturize you every day, so that's why.
Maybe we didn't need to hear that part, but thanks.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't say where, but yes, it's very. It's a very cushy hospital I went to. But yeah, I mean,
having health insurance must be nice.
I mean, I pay out the ass for it, but yeah, whatever. But yeah, Joardee, what's up? How are you?
Doing good, man. I'm just happy. I'm happy you're alive, Joardee. That's all. I didn't know how the severity of it until I think Slush told me, like, you know what a broken pelvis does, right? I'm like, what? Like, oh shit, this guy's actually hurt. So I'm here, and I'm just happy that you're good and you're getting better, even though you yell at me a lot. With love.
You have a very yellable face, if you know what I mean.
I do. Yeah.
Ahmpy, what's up, dude? You haven't heard me yell?
Let me tell you.
Real quick.
No, I don't yell on command.
Just think about
if there was like any pent up like yelling that needed to happen.
If you just think about all our mob GDKPs together, you'll find a reason to yell at me.
Joardee's not a very good tank. His
really?
You're a piece of No, I'm a phenomenal tank. You just get.
I mean, he didn't know how to cancel or Illidan.
I'll turn on the up.
What? I was an enhanced shaman. That wasn't me. That was a different tank. That wasn't me. I was the enhanced shaman. I'll let Athletics know you said that about him though.
I turned Ahmpy up.
6 strays.
Your positioning sucks. You're just not aware of where you're standing. You know,
Ahmpy, how are you though?
I'm good. I haven't been streaming, honestly, but it's because I feel like WoW is in this lull, and I know that there's something around the corner. I don't really know anything about it, but like, it's
do you know
something is
on the horizon? Is this confirmed?
And I'm saving my energy, so I've been playing some different games. I haven't really been playing that much WoW.
Yeah, you told me you're playing Project Zomboid, right?
Yeah, Project Zomboid, and I weirdly enough, I also have been playing on the PvP server, like almost entirely off stream, and I feel like I've kind of gotten my player identity back, because I feel like that's something as a streamer that you sort of lean into your stream as your character, as not even a character, as like the way that you play is by streaming.
Yeah.
So playing off stream has been kind of reinvigorating my love for World of Warcraft.
I remember when I first started streaming, I would play a lot not streaming, and Crix would always go, "Oh, you'll stop doing that soon. Like you'll only stream like while you're playing. You won't play off stream."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, dude, I'm always gonna be like playing off stream. Like it's really important." And I think he was right ultimately, but I think that the desire to not is definitely like important. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Like I'm not, big there yet, but like when I was making my videos and doing the PTR and stuff like that, I'm like, I just want to like especially when I was doing Ahmpy Supercut, I'm like, I just want to play hardcore. And like a week ago, I just said like I woke up early just to do this. I woke up at like 7 in the morning, got a coffee, and just played. I say this so dumb. I played WoW recreationally, like not for a job, for like a couple hours, just leveling my dwarf paladin in like lock mode on. Like, damn, that felt nice. So it's interesting to like not feel like it's like just a recreational playing video games versus like I'm playing for a goal or like a streaming gig.
Yeah, it feels different for me. Like I feel not pressured. I could just do some crazy monotonous grind for like 4 hours and then log off. Just like there's no pressure to keep going or entertain or whatever. And the biggest thing for me was being able to be in Discord with friends and just like chill, go AFK for a little bit, come back. I feel like it's so like relaxing to play a game like that.
Totally. What friends are you sitting in Discord with these days?
Honestly, it's funnily enough, it's a group that I haven't really contacted in a long time since like private server days. But I played with them like 10 years ago, and they joined a guild that actually I played in Classic. So I just kind of booted up the character from 60. And I've just been kind of vibing. We made level 19 twinks, just QBGs randomly, it's like just doing nothing, just playing the game.
Do you guys have those like home group friends that you always feel like that's like the very bottom of your friends where like everything else fails, you'll end up there? I don't know. I have this like group of people that I played with in 2004 that are like the people that are just like the homies that will forever be connected to. I don't know.
I have my best friend, and it's so weird because like I've known him for like 26 years. 26 years. Yeah, we've been friends since kindergarten, and sometimes we just won't text for a whole year, and then I'll text him, "Hey, you want to get pizza?" And we just hang out. Like he lives in Austin, and we'll just hang out, and it's just like I can, no matter what we're doing, if I just need a friend to hang out with, I'll text Kevin, and then we're just hanging out, playing games, chilling. Then maybe I text him a week later, text a couple days back, or maybe a year after. What about you, Ahmpy?
I feel like I'm much more of a nomad with friends. I don't have that like home group as much.
I mean,
I definitely have a couple people that I've played with for like, on and off for like 10 plus years. But as for like a friend group, not so much.
You also have your fiance though, so that's helpful, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna really quick play a little supercut we made of Ahmpy's some of his best moments to kind of introduce him, and then we'll get into some Classic Plus stuff. The last episode we had Jibe on. It was really kind of hard to talk about what we want to see in Classic Plus specifically, so I'm excited about it. Okay, here we go. Ahmpy supercut.
Or Sunday.
I can't go to Sunday if you did want me, Ahmpy. Monday would be better if you did want me. I don't know if you actually do, but I thought I'd speak up now.
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
If you saw a rank 14 character, you're like, what a fucking greasy little pig. I bet that guy lives in his mom's basement. Like, get the fuck out of my face, you sweaty nerd. That's not what the point of the game is. Why are we even playing Classic if you just want to log off? Just fucking log off. Don't play the game, bro. Just don't play the game. Chat, it's like fucking time. Evil Ahmpy, execute. Boom! Let's go! Let's go!
Let's go, boy!
Let's
Yo!
I think we pulled the boss. We pulled the boss. We pulled the boss.
Tanks. I need tank healers. Over with Ahmpy. Tank healers over with Ahmpy. I have cloak on. Stop dummying. No dummies. No dummies. No dummies. No dummies. Hide and kill these techies. Tank healers on the other side with Ahmpy. Right now. Big heals on Ahmpy.
Grid's his tone down.
Kill these
Everyone
techies.
has-
LOS the
AoE
boss.
tech
LOS
him,
the
AoE
boss.
LOS on the boss. Yeah, kill these techies. Stabilize. Tank
Oh,
healers on the
fuck,
other
okay.
side right now. Tank healers on the other side.
Oh my god.
Holy crap, Ahmpy is a Giga Chad. Holy crap, man. Like, are you kidding me? Bro, I'm not trying to glaze Ahmpy here, but like, how can you not?
Dude, that fire mod thing is just so hype. Like,
Yeah, that brought back some feelings.
I don't know how you pulled that off. It's like there's not everybody can be, cool under pressure like that. And
Yeah, my stutter would have kicked my ass so hard there. I couldn't even finish the sentence. We would have been
Yeah.
dead.
What were you thinking during that? Do you remember?
No, I blacked out.
Yeah.
I'm not. I straight
It
up
was
in
just,
those
it was
moments.
just
I
flow
don't.
mode. Yeah.
It's just like the second like it's like snap decision making. There's no like, oh my god, if Firemaw runs over there, he's gonna breathe the raid, so I have to taunt. Like I just know that this is gonna happen, so I just taunt like inherently. And I think it just comes from doing that fight and tanking that fight hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Where like it doesn't matter that there's techies there. I just know how to tank Firemaw. So as long as I was just calling healers, right? I was just like, just kill the techies, heal me, I'll tank the boss. And I it's just not that hard to do the actual like tanking, so I could focus on the raid.
I mean, I guess
and what was going on there.
that
Your
counter
character-
doesn't get hard for like 20 seconds anyways, right? Because like
Yeah.
the flame buff, it doesn't happen for a bit, and then the stacks don't really matter until you hit like 7. But
We would have been in a lot more trouble if we didn't have world buffs
yeah.
or Uber's
Yeah.
buff, because I didn't have fire res gear on,
Oh,
but I did have
damn.
the cape. So
Okay, luckily.
yeah. So it was
I don't
kind of
know,
sus.
your character just like in the middle, like not like by the techies, in the middle of all the techies around that. That's where like I was like
Well-
clenching. Oh my god! Like
The techies aren't actually scary if you stand in them if you don't have threat.
yeah,
They do nothing. So like
Because they just
They-
throw away,
Yeah.
right? So you're, yeah.
there's a lot of like
Did you-
healer threat going out.
So did you not just want Zaryu in your group? You just didn't want to tell him. You just couldn't have the heart to tell him, or what?
Yeah, I mean, look, Zaryu, I love playing with Zaryu, and he's a great WoW player. But the problem is like he just hit 60, and there's people who had been grinding, have more experience, have more consumables, have more professions, whatever, just name it, and it's just like I can't, I'm not one to cater to like a streamer just
Yeah.
because they're a streamer when I'm making a raid to try to do something.
That was something
crazy.
about like Road to Rag.
I get that. You could just. I never have visually seen someone's soul leave their body in real time until that clip.
Yeah.
That was something about
Crushed.
like Road to Rag and OnlyFans and stuff that I always really liked about you was like it was always merit. It was never numbers or whatever. Like obviously there's like some of that when you're rostering your raid and you want to make sure it's balanced across all of them, but like I don't know. You always did a good job of that. Okay, well, I think there might be something happening in a few weeks. There's a convention. Starts with a B.
1 second.
Yeah.
You guys keep going.
And I think it's in Anaheim. And they might announce a game. They might not. We'll see. But if they don't, I'm gonna be really sad.
If they don't, I luckily still have my teaching certificate, so I have a backup.
Yeah. Like
I don't know what I would do if they just didn't announce a Classic Plus at BlizzCon.
In my next video, it's on dungeons. I like have a small moment where I'm like, what if all this stuff we're making is about a game that doesn't exist? And it's just like
No,
it's fun to think about.
I said this before. Classic Plus in my head isn't a game. It's an ideology of making games for fun instead of profit.
Sure.
I think that's the way I think about Classic
love
Plus.
that.
So like, I think that all of this stuff is, able to roll up into that idea, even if it never comes out.
We'll just go and make our own Classic Plus if they don't
Yeah,
announce it.
private service can't be too hard. I'm just kidding.
Just can't advertise it on Google AdWords like those fucking idiots did. You'll be fine. Okay, well, we're gonna get some questions for Ahmpy about what Classic Plus means to him. I've seen a lot of your like shorts and stuff about Classic Plus. Shout out to Jazz. But what would you say is your dream game? Like what is the pinnacle of Classic Plus to you?
I have a lot of specific things in mind, but at a core, I'm not going to be upset if specific things aren't in the game, as long as they adhere to the founding principles of the game, where, if you're a 2004 developer, 2005 developer, how do you decide what makes the cut into the game and what doesn't? And if you follow the same principles that led to all of the things that are in the game and all the things that aren't in the game, then you should create more of just an in-depth world, no matter what they add. So my hopes for Classic Plus is that they just adhere to the original developer's kind of vision and just enhance it. Just like zoom in on what they made and just try to like match that energy. So
Is there like anything that's like, I know you said you're not gonna be upset if they don't adhere to your wishes, but is there like anything that you've seen other people want that's like you're like absolutely not? Absolutely not.
I think it's a mistake to compartmentalize the game. So like if you're like, oh man, my class is so weak, and you're just looking at it at the sense that like my class doesn't parse in raids, that doesn't mean it's weak. Like I think that there certainly are classes that are overall undertuned. I would actually say Druid might be one of them. And I think Paladin is another one, but I don't think Ret is undertuned. Unironic, I know a lot of people think Ret is this crazy, terrible class, but they're monsters. And if you make them too strong, there's a big problem, honestly. And I think you see that in SOD when you have like everybody, 30% of the population is playing Ret or Prot Paladin or Holy Paladin. And I think that's you went too far on that, So like that's one thing, compartmentalizing the game. I think that the changes have to be very careful and not cater to people with that view.
I have to get too specific just into Red Paladin. You think Red Paladin should be left alone, like completely? Or do you think
No. I don't think it should be left alone. I just don't think it needs like, the same, support and DPS and whatever as like all the other classes.
Yeah. Like, do you kind of believe in the hypertext? Sorry, both coughing here.
I think so, but people don't like it.
I agree.
I think hypertext is healthy for the game balance, but people don't like that because they pick a hybrid class and then identify with only one of the roles. So they're not embodying.
There is a
I totally get it.
Stark difference.
When I play a Paladin, I play a Prot Paladin. And if like Prot Paladin was the same way in Classic as it is Classic Plus as it is in Vanilla, I'd be pretty pissed. But I like
Joardee, I think you're muted.
I know I know what the issue is.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
It's my fault. I think the hybrid tax is probably too big right now in Vanilla, at least.
So
I do think that there should be something. But the best Ret or Holy Paladins I've ever played with are ones that are using those abilities that are not part of their spec really well. And it's like they can be heroes in a way that you're just like,
yes,
they can save a pull. You know what I mean? Especially like not in Vanilla, but like in TBC or Wrath, like a Holy Paladin taunting to just pull a mob off a tank because they're about to die is like, I mean, it might as well be a bop. You know what I mean? And they don't often do it because they're just like locked in on their frames or whatever. But
yeah, like it's just cool when you use your util voice crack when you use your util to like to help an encounter versus just like looking at the damage meters. Like I know SOD was championed, and I love SOD, was championed for class balance, but it's kind of boring. And like there should be an effort to like reteach the player base that your class is not just what it looks like on the meter. Your class can save the raid and it can save encounters both in PvE and PvP because you have something that this other class in spec doesn't. I get the whole class balance thing and wanting your class to be, viable, but I think there's a difference between viable and optimal. And I think those words get intermixed too much. like nobody plays marksmanship hunter or demo warlock in TBC right now, but they're still they do like respectable damage. They're just not in an optimal build, which kind of sucks because you want to play those things. It's like it's unfortunate, you know. I like just the idea that there's somewhat of a hybrid tax, but people are interested in their util, and I hope Blizzard realizes that's a cool thing.
I think we got a little off the question. Is there any other like big things about Classic Plus that are like critical for you?
For me?
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think what I was saying was very broad and it adheres to all aspects of the game. I think that they should start slow. I think that starting slow is what RuneScape did. And I will say old school RuneScape, I don't think it was popular right away, but the slow burn of the development kind of ensured its success, I think. Because they took something that worked and they just slowly iterated over time and iterated. And I hope to see something like that, honestly.
Do you think that's what's going to happen? Like realistically?
I don't know. I honestly don't know anything that sways me in either direction.
So when you like, it seems like when you want to log in Classic Plus, it's like your first character, whether you're creating a Night Elf or human, it's like you want more familiarity than unfamiliarity. Like I think we all know who've leveled a human are optimal paths for everywhere to go when questing. Do you want that optimization to still be there, or do you want there something to be branching you out faster?
I want to know that I'm playing a game that's slightly different. Pretty much like, I'm very interested even in the idea of new races. I just don't want 10 new races.
Yeah.
I'm interested even in new classes that have maybe played in existing retail WoW. Like there's so many new classes that have been introduced. I think some of them don't fit, but some of them could. So I'm open to the idea of new classes, but again, not too many.
This is the kind of stuff that that kind of stuff is so like crazy to me that I want them to just focus on the basics and prove that they've got that down before they go to that other stuff. You know what I mean?
And, well, you can't take it away. That's the big problem.
Right. And then I mean that's the issue with retail too, right? Like they've got so much that they've done that they just need to manage forever now, and it's just like the feature bloat is just ridiculous, and it's got to be tough. But like, I mean, the code base now is just straight spaghetti. It's difficult, I'm sure.
It's so and the latest patches and the effort's really buggy right now.
Okay, let's move on to question number 2. So you have a lot of history with hardcore WoW. You raid led Road to Rag, which was the first time I played with you when I killed Only, and you, whether you meant to or not, blacklisted me from the guild, and Only re-leveled and made it into Molten Core, which was incredible. What do you think about hardcore in a Classic Plus? What should that look like? And when should it begin? Should they do it at launch? Should they do it later? I have a very strong opinion here, but I want to hear what you think first.
I think hardcore WoW is a leveling journey. I don't think that it's an end game thing as much as, and I know that I've done a lot of hardcore raiding, but to me, hardcore raiding is a one-time thing. I go for some goal and then I'm not gonna raid log. And thinking about that idea of what hardcore's identity is, I don't know if it matters when it comes out for me, because it's something that I think is targeted. 95% of the player base for hardcore is gonna just level on it, and it like doesn't really matter when it goes out. Now I think it would split the player base a little bit to release them both at the same time. So I think, and I think you can also use it as a time filler for eventually when you run out of content and they have to develop something new, you can release boom hardcore. And I think that's pretty easy to do because
That's pretty smart.
nobody's going to be unhappy that they're releasing Classic Plus. Like they're like, oh man, I wish hardcore was out, but like they're still going to play a Classic Plus because it's new.
Yeah, I think that's super wise, and that I think it's something that they definitely do. For me, hardcore in vanilla makes perfect sense because it's a knowable game, right? Like everything is laid out. And if they are doing a live service Classic Plus where things are changing, balance changes are happening, you know, there's events in the world or whatever, you might die to something that feels unfair. Also, bugs. Like, the game's bugged. So maybe something happens, you fall through the world or whatever because it's a live service game and things change. That's going to feel really bad. So what I would love to see them do is, like, find a stable patch, make sure it's perfect, and then release it 6 months later for a hardcore version. So you're like 6 months behind so that you know the patch is safe, right? Because like
that's really
you
smart.
just like if you die to a bug, you're just like, fuck this, I don't want to play anymore. You know what I mean? Like that, it feels so unfair. And so if it's a patch or two behind, it's gonna feel like it's a little bit knowable at that point. And I don't know. It's just like I would hate to die to some dumb shit like a fire elemental spawning on top of me that I didn't know existed there because they just changed it.
Yeah, I mean, I think hardcore is always something that the people who are playing and leading and doing a lot of the hardcore raids have done the normal raids so many times that they can do the hardcore raids a lot, or at least lead them. You know, there's some people that never played WoW and they start hardcore, but their leaders are veteran, Omega veterans of the content. So like, it doesn't matter. And with Classic Plus, I think I was actually thinking about this. If they did do a hardcore, I would raid on normal and then raid lead the same raid on hardcore, like 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
because you can just stop, for 2 weeks and then just like, you're good. There's nobody who's actually gonna prog hardcore if they're meaningfully difficult content with unfigured out mechanics. You're never progging that on hardcore.
Totally.
You just aren't gonna do that. It's unreasonable to assume.
You got one shot and that's it. Figure out the mechanics that first pull or it's GG.
I mean, I think didn't you do that for Road to Rag? I feel like I remember you guys having like clone characters on. We
didn't have clones. We just looked at other people doing it. Because we started raiding at like week 5 or something, and so there had already been clears. Now I was making strategies that hadn't been tested, but the idea behind the strategies were verified through logs and other guilds.
So how big does the fight change? Like, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, there were strats that I was like 80% sure that it would work. It's like I think that might, yeah.
I have a vivid memory of whispering you like, hey, I see you're doing like Lucifron strats. I would love to help out. And you're like, for sure, dude. And I was like level 30 and you had already done it all. You know what I mean? But you were just like, I was just a random guy. It was just, I don't know. You were so far ahead of everybody at that point, just thinking about it.
Yeah, I actually had a channel. There were some people that didn't even play with us. Like they were like retail WoW strategists, and they were like combing logs and proposing ideas. And it's like, oh, we did some log focus and noticed that this mind control only targets the closest player. So maybe let's try pets. And then week 1 we put a pet on. It's like, oh my god, it works. And so like we had that stuff like done weeks in advance outside of Domo and I think Rag, which we did like the day before or 2 days before.
So like with that, like that how much you love hardcore, like I think we all can agree that it just really revitalized like the leveling journey for like all of us in Classic. Yeah, outside of that one life challenge, do you think there's just any aspect of that Blizzard just needs to like take away for just Classic Plus in general?
The one life journey applied to Classic Plus, you're saying?
No, like besides
Like
the
the
one
idea
life
behind it?
aspect, like besides like one
Oh.
life, like what? Because like I've leveled up a million times, right? All of us have, but then it's just so different in hardcore. Like, what makes it so different, and what does it bring out that you don't do normally leveling? That like maybe that's something they could look at in regards to the leveling journey for Classic Plus.
You know, I think this actually relates to what we were talking about just before we went live. I think hardcore
Yeah.
WoW is special not because you are going to die. And it's not necessarily that idea. It's that because you know if you do die, your character is gone, you take more time and you put your weight and you live in the moment. And you can have these arching goals, but for the most part, you're worried about the mob in front of you and the pack of mobs you have to deal with for the next quest. And I think that puts your mind in sort of like an exploration mode that you don't get if you're on a PvP server and your friends are raiding Molten Core, because you don't care about the mobs in front of you. You're just trying to get the XP from them. So it turns this into like, you see, like with your eyes, you see these mobs, yes, but they're just XP numbers to you. And I think when you're playing hardcore, it's a little bit less like that. Unless you're maybe speedrunning or you've played like a ton. So I think it puts the RPG back into the game that kind of gets stripped when people use modern mindsets like, you know, I want to be the first leveler, hit 60, or I want to be in the first raids, or I want to get this item specifically, and that's the only reason I'm playing, you know. So
Do you think there should be like, you know, similar to EverQuest and Old School RuneScape, should there be a punishment when you die just in the base game? Like not in hardcore, but maybe worse than like just, you know, taking res sickness, which is an option, or some armor damage.
no. I think
It's
that
too much.
there's definitely a lot of old school MMO players that would appreciate something like that, and I think you can find that in like hardcore. But a lot of people don't like that. Like if you dropped your gear on the ground.
It was something that they like made a point to remove, I think.
Yeah.
Because they were like, they didn't want people to feel like they couldn't just have fun, and they were constantly like scared. And like the player base was a lot less experienced then, so I think that was the right call then. And then, you know, we've artificially created the challenge now. So it's like, it feels
we have lost something, obviously, because hardcore wouldn't exist if I think WoW had more punishing mechanics, just putting you into the game more.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's why
But
hardcore and
most
retail
people just
doesn't
don't
work,
want it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we could have a toggle for something like that, though.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not a full hardcore.
Iron Man, hardcore, like there's a ton of toggles that I hope that they put in eventually, because it's so much fun, like trying a new character and restricting yourself a little bit in some way. And if Classic Plus is a permanent game mode, then they're gonna need like evergreen content like that. I mean,
this totally sparked my memory here. I want them to lean into that stuff too. I want them to lean into like community challenges that already have this like sort of pull with the player base.
Yeah.
Even beyond leveling, I think that Blizzard should try to facilitate things like speedrunning raids or dungeons.
Yeah, I've been arguing about this for so long.
Like in-game, you know,
put a clock,
like leaderboards for like a clock, like a timer, like, you know, have more standardized. You could have like a seed for the week for people who are speedrunning, and they all have the same seed. And you know, I think that there could be so many things that they could lean into what people identify with in their game, and sort of like use the interest gauge of current players as something that like, maybe there's something here.
Yeah.
Like,
so like a board in the middle of Stormwind where you get to click on it and see who's on the top of what, right?
Right.
Top
Or even something like you get a title if you have the top spot on the leaderboard for the tier.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
It's just challenge modes.
it's
And
like
that also creates like prestige, which I think is like missing in the current landscape for specifically raids when they're easy. There's no prestige anymore. And so I think having some sort of like either elite set or like some sort of like facilitate like some challenge for people to keep them engaged long term.
so you want go ahead, Joardee.
The great thing about speedrunning, at least as a healer, is that it makes mid and late tier raids interesting because farm sucks as a healer because shit's easy and you're just like whatever. But when you're speedrunning, it's just balls to the wall, adrenaline. And I was arguing about this in the Classic Plus Project Discord earlier. It's just it adds so much longevity to the game that I really hope that they embrace. But I'm not sure that they're going to because it's already done. And if they did anything, it would maybe upset the balance. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like if they do anything, then it becomes a feature that they own. But if they don't, then they can just be like, oh, whatever. I think there's a lot of those choices that they choose not to make.
Yeah, but I want to touch on that the prestige thing. I think that's super important too because I think there's a back and forth on that. Like some people think prestige and classic is like there's no point, and I just disagree. I guess with soft content, yeah, but like I like the idea that as someone who plays in a pretty decent team, there's going to be things that I just can't get. And I think I don't want like to get everything because then it becomes meaningless. If everyone has it, like SOD had something like this where if you did hard mode AQ, which wasn't really that hard, you got like a cosmetic, and it's like that cosmetic would be kind of cool if not everyone in Storm 1 had it.
Yeah.
Or like in Blackwing Lair and everything, they had those like cosmetics, and it's like it's a cool idea. And this is what I've talked to some folks about. Like retail has a lot of cool things. I just don't like how retail does it. Like someone in chat brought up, like, well, challenge modes already exist in MOP and whatever in the Smithy Plus now. I like that. I like the idea, just not how it's executed in modern. And I think there's a way for it to be classic. And I think there is, like, when he called the guy, rank 14 guy, a sweaty pig, right? It's cool. Like there's notoriety. Like this guy worked hard for something and I have to work just as hard to get that. And I feel like that's lost now because we've min-maxed so much and it's not that time gated or challenging.
I think that they also, like with anniversary servers, I personally think they made a big mistake, specifically rank 14. This is how the context of that clip is like, it's meaningless now because it's so obtainable. And yes, everybody gets it. It's cool. It feels nice, but it's muted. Like you're getting a muted version, even though you do have it, you're getting a version that like nobody cares about except for you. Maybe if you're like a WoW tourist, you're like, I've always wanted to be rank 14. This is my dream.
Yeah.
That's kind of a way for people to kind of get that.
If it becomes like something
kind
required.
I've called anniversary like kind of touristy since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think it makes sense for that. Like I think there should be kind of like this is a tangent. We could talk about this later.
I just with the rank 14 thing, it's like if it becomes required, then it's awful, right? Like I remember, I think the only guild that like kind of required rank 14 was Apes in vanilla, and like all of their warriors were rank 14. And
I was also I was in the same situation. I had a guild. We had like 28 rank 14s going into like AQ. We also poached people who were rank 14. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people would jump into like the best guilds once they hit rank 14 early.
Yeah.
We were fighting you back then. I remember. I think maybe actually you swapped servers by
I see what you are saying. It's like I talked about this with TBC just in general. Like when something becomes so accessible, like I talk about how like reputation gear and like badge of justice gear, and in its original intent was just meant to be like gear it's stuff you can do along with raiding. But when it's so easily accessible, it now becomes pre-raid bis. It's not stuff you do, it's stuff you have to get before you do stuff now. And that's kind of what happened with rank 14. I think there should just be, and I want your thoughts on this, Ahmpy, just like there's stuff that you should just be able to grind, and it takes a while to get it. I think it's, hi Levi, sorry, my cat wants attention. It should just take a while, or it should be challenging, and just bring back like meaningful content in a classic setting.
I think the content that you're describing is a stretch goal. It's something like Winter Saber Tiger.
Yep.
Yes.
Original rank 14. You know, it could be something as simple as like, these are player made goals. You can kind of facilitate them through content like, you know, rank 14 or Winter Saber. But there's also the people that'll make these goals that are like, I want to get exalted all reputations. And this kind of thing
that, right?
only exists when you put the player in the world frequently and you don't remove them. And I think that's a separate problem. Like, you can put all of the stretch goals you want into a game, but people may not want to do them because they're just raid logging and that's their loop, and they're not going to care about their character. And I think that's something that needs to be in Classic Plus too, is like, they really need to develop the player day-to-day experience, knowing that it takes 3 hours to clear a raid and they don't have anything to do for the rest of the week. And I don't think that the answer is dailies. I don't think the answer is heroic dungeons or whatever. I think it's something that like is really hard to answer. And I think that if they do it right, Classic Plus will be good. And if they don't do it right, Classic Plus will be bad. In the sense that like it's not going to be the same as 2004 WoW.
Yeah.
Like that
Like
kind of feeling.
they need a bunch of those. Like
I know some people get upset when like, hey, I logged in, played for 4 hours, and I have nothing to show for it. And it's like, I think like reputation bars are great, because even if you didn't get something, you were able to track your progress. Like, I got closer towards this reputation today, and I played for 4 hours. So I saw my goal. Going back to retail, like, I think achievements are cool when they're actual achievements, not just like, hey, I logged in and leveled up cooking to 10 and I now have an achievement. I think you can stretch things out, but if you have some sort of visual progress bar, you can make the players who want those things at least be like, hey, I logged in for X amount of hours and I made some progress today.
I think that
versus, hey, go ahead.
The issue I think long term for that, right, is like Winter Spring Frost Saber was very iconic in the way that it looked, because there weren't that many mounts, but there's going to be a lot of mounts in this game. Like, that's inevitable, I think. And so like, it's going to be hard for them to figure out how to make stuff seem valuable long term, because you go look at retail, everything, I mean, who the fuck knows where anything comes from? You know what I mean? It's like, there's so much shit. Yeah. But I do think there needs to be a ton of like end game grinds that are just like stupid long for very little reward, just so that you can say, I did the thing. And you could sit in Ironforge or sit in Stormwind and show it off. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff I love personally.
The 2.5 dungeon quests, I want more stuff like that. I think that's pretty badass.
I think I can almost guarantee you those are going to be, there's going to be a lot of those. I mean, you look at Sod.
Tier 0.5?
Yeah. Yeah, 0.5, yeah.
You go look at Sod and there's a ton of that stuff. Like just the Paladin quests are like super cool. Or yeah, the Khonshu quest. Ahmpy, you did Khonshu, I'm assuming? You never did Khonshu? Oh, dude. Have you ever seen?
I know what you're saying to me.
Yeah. Well, I'll pull it up real quick. But it is essentially like I don't know. Chat, how would you describe it? Khonshu. It's
Is it Sod? Is it retail?
It's Sod, yeah.
Sod.
It's kind of like a Dark Souls boss in WoW or Mage Tower.
It was like at the Mage Tower, and you had to like, it was a solo thing you can do, but you got this like debuff that like marked how many times you did it right. And if you did it right 17 times, it would unlock a quest chain, but you weren't just given the quest chain, you had to find this. And this quest chain took you all throughout Azeroth, in places that you wouldn't normally go to, or places that people would usually wall jump to get to. and it unlocked secret cosmetics, and like you got to do like wall jumping, and like they place new objects somewhere so you can go somewhere, and it had a bunch of cosmetics in it, but it was this really cool thing you can do outside of raiding, similar to what we're talking about.
I'm pulling it up
So-
on stream, but
Oh, I think I'm seeing it now.
so you get teleported to the top of this pillar, and then you have to just like fight this thing and move around, not get hit by any of these telegraphed abilities, and it's like razor thin
It's a
where
solo
you
boss.
can. Yeah, it's all solo. And
I think this is smart.
this is the kind of stuff that I think is super fun, and this was really good stream content too, because you had to do it 17 times in a row to get the sunglasses, which was completely useless. But if you failed, then you had to start over, and it was so much fun. Like as you got closer and closer to 17, because the pressure just ramped, and
I'm sweating, man.
I mean, not this one, but there's one where he goes right to the edge of the platform. But yeah, right here. You really have to be at the very edge, or you get knocked off. It got easier as SOD went on because people started
Your gear
moving a
weight.
little faster and gear, all that stuff. But this was a blast.
What this just reminds me of is RuneScape, because all
Exactly.
RuneScape bosses are mostly solo.
Yeah.
There's some group bosses, but like you can do that pretty much most things solo. And I think one of the biggest problems that WoW has in terms of like Classic Plus is that it's so determined by a group of players and not just a single player. So you can't just be like, oh, like we're adding this content in because, you know, everybody's going to do it, even if they don't like resonate with it because they're in a guild and they have to do it. You know, so like they're like doing the new raid or whatever. And
Yeah.
so it's harder to like just develop, like, you know, things for players when you're putting everybody into it.
So you want more? You think solo content will be great for Classic Plus? Because that's a hot topic
Not-
too.
I mean,
It's
I think
they
like
just
solo
need to have a
challenge
bunch
stuff
of stuff.
is cool to distinguish your character. I don't think they should focus on adding solo content to the game.
Yeah, this Ashbringer fight was dope.
It's on screen right here. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
watching.
Have you ever seen this fight?
No.
So this is the very last quest in getting your Ashbringer on Sod, and you are fighting the Spirit of Mograine, and you have to pretty much use every single ability you have access to in order to do it properly. And you know he's running around, and the very first guy who did this, his name is Slackbringer, the legend. He hadn't turned off his error voice lines, so it was like that spell is not ready yet for like 2 hours, and his stream was memeing on him so much, but he did it. He got the very first Ashbringer. It was very exciting.
So you don't
This
want
kind
like
of stuff looks sick.
It's very, very cool. And he was, I mean, watching the first guy do it, like he's discovering how to do it. Like he didn't know that these shades spawn and you had to kill them super fast or it fails the quest, right? So I think he failed it the first time. And then, you know, you run over the little holy light balls on the ground to get healed, and I don't know, it's just like it was just super rad. So I hope they do more stuff like this. So long as it doesn't like take a ton of development time, because I don't know. I feel like group content is ultimately like where I want them to spend a lot of their time, because we can all do it together.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that
Yeah.
I enjoy the most in this game. But
I think that WoW, I was talking to my friends about this. I think that WoW is fun because of the people around you, not necessarily the content you're doing. Like the content can keep your engagement.
Yeah.
And it can be challenging and it could be a puzzle for you to solve. But ultimately, if you're playing solo, you're going to get a different experience than if you're playing with your friends or people that you like being around, because of, and I think that is part of the reason why I think they shouldn't lean too heavy into solo content. And I actually think they should lean into, I guess the best way I would describe this is like village structures. I think
Sure.
that's like my ideal. Like let's make these little guild villages for everybody, and they're interacting with each other constantly, and they have to do group quests for new pieces of gear, and maybe to craft a new item you need a blacksmith, a leather worker, a tailor, and then an enchanter, and you need all these guys, and the most available people are in your guild, so you're just going to probably interact with your guild. And I think that kind of thing is what facilitates you to make friends and interact with people. And if you're it puts people together in these villages, and I think when you have that kind of structure, you you're doing things that you wouldn't otherwise do because your friend needs help. You're forced social interaction. I would say, yeah, I think you should just also put meaning to these people's professions around you, uh, and the people around you.
Yeah, I think that's. I've never thought of like kind of opening my brain here because I've always thought so small scale. But yeah, just add more solo content and just add more dungeons and raids. But like the idea of just like these more community based events that it's just hard because stuff like that kind of exists, but we don't really ever use it because it's not optimal, right? So like you have to put. Sorry. Do you create these items that are like equally valuable as raid items, or is this just like a second option? Like, I guess it's just like with I guess with loot scarcity too. I'm getting off topic here. Sorry. It all just makes it so hard because I guess you want more variety in getting like acquiring player power. Then
I don't think you should get tokens from raid that you turn into a vendor to get an item. I think that's lame
Mhm.
compared to like imagine. Okay, I'm gonna just propose these two ideas here. So number one,
for
this
it.
is how it works currently. You go to Naxxramas, you kill a boss, he drops desecrated bracers. Then you go to the auction house, you buy the materials, and you have an item.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it works. Or you already have them, or the guild bank gives you the mats.
Mhm.
That's kind of just like the gameplay loop for acquiring your tier 3 gear. And if you compare that to something like, well, in this other world, you get the tier 3 token, and instead of going to the auction house, maybe you go kill, I don't know, you need
Yes.
a
Yeah.
freaking
It's like Sulfurous
piece
or
of
Thunder
wood
Fury.
from an ancient tree in Hyjal, and then you bless it with an enchanter who gets blood from Onyxia, and then
It's
and then,
Sulfurous or Thunder Fury. It's
exactly, but these like mini chains,
somebody helping you
and
farm 100 Arcanite bars. It's like
and the key and the key of this, I think for all your gear, this is too much work. Somebody said in the chat, but listen for a moment. Okay, this
Let them cook.
yeah, let me cook. This kind of structure puts you into the world outside of raid day. So you get your piece of gear. You now have a quest where you need help from your guild. Maybe you have to go kill a 5-man in Burning Steps, and you have to go kill a 5-man boss in EPL.
It's
and
like
if you're on a PvP
it's like the
server, this
0.5
creates
quest line.
friction. It creates a little bit of friction because these are going to be contested hotspots, and to get your gear, you need help. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think that instead of just acquiring a piece of gear from a raid, you should get something that lets you make a piece of gear.
It also
And
makes it so that you don't want tons of gear right away because you just don't have the time to get it all, right? You're like, I'll take that, you take that, because I'm not going to be able to do 50 quest lines in a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And now I do think that you can't have every piece of gear as something like this, but I think that if you're going to add something like a token, you should add a quest instead.
I mean, it makes sense because like if people in chat are upset by that, like what do you do the other 6 days outside of that raid anyways? Like you have 6 days to do this awesome quest chain. Why would you be upset that there's more stuff to do after getting the gear? I don't want to get, I guess what you're saying, I don't want to get the gear and then just like, okay, cool, upgrade. I'm going to log out now and I'll see y'all in a week. There's stuff to do in the other 6 days, maybe 5 if you're a 2-day raid team, if the raid's harder, to get that gear. I think that's a really, really cool idea.
It's also, if this is a permanent server and it's a permanent expansion, what's the rush? You know what I mean? Like have stuff be hard to get and take a while because like it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? versus like an expansion where it just becomes useless down the line.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the beauty of this different version of the game WoW has never really had. If that's the way they go, so we'll see. Okay,
I see
we
people-
should move
I
on.
see-
Right? We're
yeah.
running out of time.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna skip the early game question, but how hard do you think the raid should be?
I actually think heroic Lich King is my top end difficulty. Like Wrath.
That's pretty
heroic
hard.
Raids. I think that's like how hard the raids could be at a maximum for me.
Heroic Lich King, up to now, week 1, is the hardest boss Classic has had. Harder than any mop, harder than anything in Kata. I would say by a pretty large margin.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that's too hard, personally.
Well, this is so. I
This
was
is the
gonna say,
hardest though.
that's the hardest I think they could
Yeah.
possibly develop something. If it's like a hard mode, they can't just make, let's say Molten Core that level of difficulty. I think there should definitely be a ramp though over time. And I think that there should be some sort of hard mode, and I don't like heroics, but some sort of content that players who are easily outgrowing the difficulty of the content can opt into. And it's maybe not required, but it's something that like either it's some sort of facilitated speed run or some sort of like hard mode or some sort of like, and these things should give cosmetics or player character progression and investment rather than player power. So there's a very key distinction. As soon as you give player power to a highest difficulty, it becomes the mandatory. And you would find that with like let's say like you make 10-man Nax, heroic and normal. Nobody cares about normal. Everybody's gonna do heroic, and then they're gonna do 10-man heroic, and they're maybe gonna do 10-man normal for the first couple of weeks, but as soon as they don't need it, they're chucking it out the window and nobody cares. And so like I think that there should be some sort of stretch goals and player progression that it kind of extend upwards towards like a Lich King level difficulty, because that's how you actually get a prestige in this sort of content. If you release something that's as hard as Kael'thas post nerf and you call it a challenge mode, it's not a challenge mode anymore. There's no, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be something that everybody unlocks.
I see a lot of chat too that says, hard content doesn't work with classic players. I think hard content doesn't work when it's already solved and you watch other people kill it when your guild's struggling. There's a difference between hard content and like hard and like not hard. Like I think certain things that some people think are hard are not, but like when people use the database on Ironforge Pro where they see like, oh, well, you look at AQ, you look at tier 5, look at Old War, there's big population drop-offs. Like, sure. But there's a difference because you're watching other people, whether it's through Twitch, YouTube, or Warcraft logs, have cleared the content, and you're wondering why you haven't. And there's also the aspect that it offers more player power, heroic, eye level, whatever, at least in Old War, right? But like you're saying, this doesn't offer player power. It's just a horizontal progression, right? It's some sort of cosmetic. It's not giving you more gear. It's not giving you better gear. It's something that's there to offer a challenge for those who want it without making it feel required because it's giving you better gear. The moment it's better gear or it's whatever, it's not an option. It's a requirement, like you said, with normal and heroic. But like, I agree with
But
that.
is it
something like
Yeah, no, yes.
we are a certain type of player, right? And
Yeah.
and I think there's a lot of people that will just do the normal because that's what they can do. Like I hopped into a random 10-man pub for Throne of Thunder, and I was just shocked at the level of play, but they were having fun, and like they just it's not always about the way that we play. You know what I mean? And it's I don't know.
I think that I can say that as a streamer, I've experienced a lot of different people who play WoW in my chat, and this is this is just secondhand experience of what people like and don't like. But as soon as somebody gets something that another person can't acquire because of skill or difficulty, they're gonna be upset.
Yeah.
And there's obviously people who are gonna mind their own business and they're gonna play their game. And these are the people who play hardcore World of Warcrafts to this day, and they just level and they have fun. You know, or they're playing MOP and they log in to raid with their boys. And I think unfortunately the modern player base expects there's a level of expectation with classic World of Warcraft that the highest level of gear is achievable by almost everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's a precedent that's been set over time with nerfed tier 5. It's like, rank 14. There's a track record of this happening, that people get upset at something being too sweaty or too hard. And you can see it by people's reaction to how rank 14 got changed. They're like,
yeah.
I see so many people that are like, I talk about this rank 14 and they say these exact words. It's still a long grind though, and it's meaningful. And I'm like, yeah, but you shouldn't have it. Because I think that's the core problem, is that they're going to make something that's like, oh, it's a hard mode, but then they 90% of player base expects to be able to complete that.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they feel almost betrayed.
And it becomes a requirement for other
exactly
for groups. And then
so I don't think that's how it should be, because you should be able to have like raids and gear that people realistically can't obtain unless they're trying really hard and it's their passion to play World of Warcraft. I think that there should be some separation between a casual player and a hardcore player in terms of the gear they can acquire. I just don't think it's realistic anymore because of the expectations over time that have settled in people's minds that they can just do everything.
Yeah. I think that the best version of a raid for Classic Plus to me is mostly easy, except for maybe the last boss or second last boss. And then there is an artificial difficulty added with speedrunning. And maybe you even put a chest at the end of the raid that like has some cosmetic stuff like they did with Sod. But like if you go fast enough, you get the same weapon, but it's glows purple or something. And then like that adds that level of difficulty that you need to hit, but isn't required to do the same thing that the other guy, And I think a good point you made was like people watching streamers, it makes the gear feel attainable, and then if they don't get it, then they're salty about it, and then they're like, I'm quitting, fuck it, if it's too hard.
The words entitlement, I'm not afraid to use it. Like it's frustrating.
Oh yeah, no, like I would say probably 50% of the player base is like mega entitled.
Yeah, 100%.
They're like,
yeah.
It's frustrating because like like the argument will just go play harder content in retail, but I like classic, and the thing is, when Molten Core was retail, it was hard. When all this content was retail, it was hard.
Retail. That's a weird thing to think about.
It's a weird.
I think that's a good point actually. This is something that we've kind of lost. Like these raids had a super low clear rate back in the day, and they weren't designed to be obtainable. They were just put in, and they were supposed to be pretty hard by the tuning. Honestly,
when did you start playing?
They seemed pretty hard. I was playing in 2005, but I was like 8 years old.
Okay.
So I didn't actually start playing until probably private servers, and then I was playing on like buffed private servers.
I was playing in 2004. My guild got up to patchwork in Nax, and we thought we were the hottest shit, and we didn't even full clear, but we were like walking around, Ironforge was the main city. Stormwind wasn't back then in 2004.
Yeah.
And we thought we were dope, because it was hard, and our PCs were potatoes, and it was like, but there wasn't any entitlement. It was just try to do your best. You know what I mean? I sucked at the game. I still suck at the game.
Like like when I started playing, when I was playing retail TBC, like my end game content was heroic Magister's Terrace, and there were so many groups that did not clear heroic Magister's Terrace. So when I killed Kel'Thas, I was like, I killed Kel'Thas. This is badass, and I had gear that probably was terrible, but like, it's just like this. I think it's okay if classic content's hard if it's like at a level where I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, what was the boss XT deconstruct, right? The second boss or third boss of Ulduar, or was mathematically impossible, right? And they didn't even kill it in Wrath Classic. I wish they could just have a separate instance where that boss was still there, and you could just keep trying. And then as you got more gear, like through Ulduar and then through TOGC and ICC, you can go back and think, can we still kill this boss? And just have these like things that are just so hard. And maybe when they release something, it's too hard, but you just leave it there. It's just there. And like, you can keep trying for some cosmetic and just, I don't know, like, getting fired up about this topic.
Okay, let's.
I think. Sorry, just one last thing on this topic. I think that the only way hard raids would ever work in Classic again is if they make it so unobtainable to expect to clear it that it's like similar to old rank 14, where it's just out of your reach, and you have to accept that. And I think that would dispel a lot of entitlement, because it's like rare enough to be able to, get this thing from a raid that it's like, it's fine. Most people won't have it. I'm not upset that all these people aren't going to have it around me. Yes. It's like, oh, this one guy gets it, whatever. And I think that sort of comparison is what is necessary for hard raids to actually work. So it needs to be like in 2000, whatever, 2005, 2006. I think that's how the level of unobtainable it was. Like Joardee was saying, you only cleared up to patchwork, and they were like hot shit on the server because they did it. They didn't even full clear it. So like that shows how like the unobtainability of a full clear created a less, I would say, entitled player base.
Yeah.
I think an easy solution, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but like have the content that gives you the player power that's clearable by most folk, but then have the hard raid release with it that's like, doesn't maybe offer player power. What was the phrase you used? Not player power, but
it's like character progression.
Character progression.
Yeah, title or like enchant or whatever.
And have that release maybe side by side with it. And that's just the thing that not everyone's clearing. And that's, I don't know. I think there's solutions, and I think people just have to accept I can't have everything, As I just typed in chat, like I killed a mythic boss like almost the last week of it being current content. I was so happy. That shit's hard. But like, I don't expect to like get all that stuff. I don't expect the same titles and everything. And I just think there's room for that in Classic. And I think you can adjust it to where it's not I just think as long as it's not player power, more people will be accepting of it. And I just think there is an entitlement issue that Blizzard can help. And I think it's solvable.
Okay, we're gonna do some rapid fires, and yap a tiny bit less so that we can get through some viewer questions. So we have a few questions from the Classic Plus Project Discord yappers. If you guys want to, audio listeners and video listeners, if you guys want to join the Discord, you can post questions that we will ask our guests every week, and there's a lot of really great conversation in there about what Classic Plus is, and some really bad takes like flying mounts should be in Classic Plus earlier. That was a bad one. Okay, but first up, Jack is asking, what are your thoughts on GDKP, and do you think Blizzard has approached it well so far?
Ooh.
No, I don't think that that Blizzard should ever dictate immersive gameplay. They should punish cheaters. So banning GDKP is stupid. They should permaban gold buyers.
I 1000% agree. That is.
It's too easy.
But let's say they can't ban gold buyers for whatever reason. Is there a solution that you've ever thought of?
Instead of using gold, I'll like introduce facilitate a system where players can receive
His token system, something.
no. Players can receive something related to sustainability of raid environment, say like consumables or something from doing the raid. So like you run a raid, if you were going to do a GDKP, you get 500 gold on your alt. That supplies you with enough gold to play the game on your other characters for the rest of the week. That's nice. That's like one of the biggest things for GDKP going forward, is that you go, and even though you don't get loot, you get enough things to play with outside of the raid. And so going to the raid and getting maybe like a flask of supreme power or some sort of like, you know, value you can use or sustain with is like really nice, because it allows people to play a lot of different characters. And that's one of the best, I think, things in GDKP.
I totally agree, but it does remove a little bit of that profession joy, you know, the fun of that, like having to go around town and talk to all of your people and get their wares for the raid and stuff like that. But
I think that kind of profession stuff is almost like, you know, doing your chores rather than like
Yes.
like
Yeah.
really engaging with, you know, the world around you and your friends. It's like, dude, like I need haste pots really bad. Like, is anyone around to do haste pots real quick? And then you kind of like, it's like this very like transient thing. They're like alt tabbed and they just create it for you and they trade it back. And I think, you know, if you want to have like that profession environment, it should be out in the world where you're both actively playing. With that being said, I think that if they did something like that, they would have to omega buff herbalism in the open world.
Yeah.
Or you know, whatever, so that it feels meaningful still.
I'm a huge fan of GDKP. I understand why they did what they did. They want to incentivize guilds, right? I've even asked them this, and this has been their
that's
answer.
silly, bro.
They want to incentivize.
I think that's a cope out.
They think guilds are a core system in the game, and they want to incentivize that over groups like GDKP. I have met so many wonderful people in a GDKP.
Literally.
Like, your social circle just grows 10 times when you can go to a GDKP. And it's so much fun meeting all these people, because you raid with the same 25 whatever people every week, and you're like, okay, well that's my group. But with the GDKP, you make a new character and you got another 25 people to raid with every week. And it's like one of my best friends I met in a GDKP. Like
I met Joardee through GDKPs. That's literally how we met.
I think because I remember they cited this the first time they banned GDKP and saw the traditional guild, eroding traditional guild structures, I think was the word for word. And I think it's so silly for them to say that, because all that happened was the GDKPs that existed turn into other pugs. You know, you can't cite something, a group of players that doesn't play with a guild, as eroding the guild structure. What actually eroded guild structure is creating a 10-man raid environment where you no longer need to group with people outside of your small circle of friends. So they created small content, which eroded guild structure, because you don't need to work with people you may not love and make a guild and have your enchanter and have your whatever and your dude, because it's all obtainable within your small circle of friends. So you no longer need a guild. You can just pug one dude because you have 8 friends, and that's where you get this like sort of like small pug guilds that exist. I think that's really what happened, and citing GDKP is like a scapegoat.
Paste.
I pulled up the Classic Plus project website just for
On the stream.
the survey results. 55.8% say no to GDKP right now. 22.3 yes and 21.9 opinion. So it's pretty.
I think,
It's pretty.
and this might be a hot take,
Get the average
I think the
price.
people who vote no in GDKP don't participate in the system, or they haven't participated in GDKP.
Yeah, have
or
not felt
they've joined
the joy of it.
maybe one GDKP that's a full pug, and they got denied from it. I think that's the big problem with this kind of question, is like, the people that actually played GDKP, I think voted yes. And the people who were leveling vote no because they parrot, I don't know, Reddit or
there's a
streamer
Yeah.
or whatever.
there's like a not jealousy, but like I'm not doing it, so I don't want you to benefit from it type stuff. You know what I mean?
And there's also a like all the good players are here, so now I'm playing with the bad players type shit.
Okay, moving on. Thomas NL asks if we really want to stay on Azeroth and not have these separate islands, we will inevitably run out of places. So if we want Classic Plus to keep the world fresh, we would want existing places to update. Now, should Blizzard do this? And what would be the most elegant way? TLDR, how do you think Blizzard should deal with updating existing zones, Cata style? Should there be phasing? Should they never do that?
I don't think that they should rework zones that exist. I think that there's plenty of opportunity to grow the world similar to how retail does it, except without invalidating all the other existing places in the world. So if you add a piece of new content, there shouldn't be trainers, a main city, an auction house, dailies, new reps, all this stuff that's just your whole focus. So like if they were to add something like Northrend, this is an example that I like to bring up for this, is if they were going to do Northrend, there should be a boat to take you to Northrend. There's no inns there. It's a desolate zone. And instead of it being the whole,
You had this,
shebang, it's
for Outland
just,
was your original.
yeah. Yeah. And
I
it's
love
just,
this pitch.
and it's just Dragonblight and ICC. The most core Wrath of the Lich King themes you can possibly get, condense it into 2 hostile zones. There's maybe a vendor, there's maybe a repair guy, but there's no auction house, there's no innkeeper, there's no flight paths, there's no nothing. There's raids there, dungeons, maybe like world bosses, and you could have like quest chains from other raids bring you out to Northrend to come back and get materials. And that's how you could introduce some sort of new zones without invalidating the old world.
That's a cool design.
It creates an accessory island for you to visit. And those things need to happen.
When you first pitched
Isn't
this,
that kind of like old school RuneScape? Does that? I play a little bit of RuneScape. I feel like this when you get to those
honestly,
outer
I don't
worlds,
know.
right?
I haven't played enough RuneScape to know that.
when you first pitched this, it reminded me of the dead zones kind of in a game called The Division, where it's a PvPvE like zone where there's like enemies that you can kill and loot, and then other players can kill you and get the loot that, it's like a kind of extraction shooter.
It's wilderness in RuneScape.
Yeah, exactly. And
wilderness pretty much. Yeah,
I thought that was like a really cool idea for WoW. I don't know. They have room to experiment with stuff now, right? And time to do it, because if they're not gonna, if they're always gonna be in Classic Plus and not make expansions and invalidate old content, then like they can do this stuff. So hopefully they take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's honestly, if they only add like one thing that like I've talked about, I would want that kind of change. Like the whole like the Outland thing where it's like Hellfire and Shadowmoon Valley, and there's 2 new raids, and you have to like bring your raid to the freaking Dark Portal to take the portal, and then hoof it there to Black Temple, and you have to deal with gankers, and you can't summon in these zones, and it's just whole like you're experiencing this hostility in the zone, and I think that's so sick.
And I think world bosses also have an element of that you could really lean into. Do you remember Christmas Day 2019? You and I, Grizzly and Fusion and like a Horde guild were fighting for Azuragos, and we kited it all around the zone trying to get it off the Horde, and at like 0.1% at that little bridge on the bottom east of the zone, we got the tag of 0.1%, and it was like the most hype shit ever. Like stuff like that, man. It was like, I don't know.
Dude, seeing the mob go from a world boss go from gray to like bright, that's what I got a world boss once, and it's just an insane feeling when there's like the server's lagging, right? Like you're in that zone, and it goes from gray, and then it goes to that color where you have the tag. It's, dude,
You only got a world boss.
that's awesome.
You only got a world boss one time.
Yeah, I was, dude.
My
I
God,
was,
you
well,
don't have to sound so disappointed in him.
I believe it or not, I actually when I came into Classic
Toxic.
19, I didn't know what I was doing. I was still like I was a casual like clicker. I clicked all my buttons still pretty much. And
I mean, I remember
but-
Ahmpy in Grizzly and me in Fusion. We were sitting on the hill surrounding Kazakh spawn. Like there were like
Yeah.
20 guilds on those hills. We each had a hill, and we were all
You know, I
trying
actually
to.
have footage of that.
I would love to see that.
I have footage of the Azure Ghosts, probably.
Because like
I'm pretty sure.
that World Boss Day was so much fun. I don't know. We got off topic. Okay, let's move on. Okay. So this is from Kamori. How do you feel about attunements to raids? Do you like long narrative attunements like Onyxia or short ones like BWL? Do you want to see more or less attunements in the future? And what storyline with it? Okay, this is a different question. We'll stop there.
I think attunements are important story tools, and I think it depends on how they're designing the content. If the game is main focused, being that it's a slow leveling experience and there's a lot of progress through the raids, and each single raid is extremely meaningful, and you're going to progress it through like multiple weeks and it lasts a long time, I think it should have an attunement. If it's very alt focused, like SOD is an example of alt focused gameplay where you get to 25 in, let's say, 10 hours. So the 0 to max level is very quick. That's alt focused. So you're gonna instead be focusing on running it on multiple characters. I think those kind of attunements should be, if they exist, they should be very short and sweet. But I think something like the classic attunement and the TBC attunements fit really well with the original design implementation of leveling and main focused gameplay.
I think it's a really good answer. I don't know, man. I really
Sorry, I was
enjoyed
banging
finding
somebody.
Rexar for the Horde side Onyxia attunement.
Yeah.
I really like narrative stuff. I you guys know that about me. And the first time you do something is such a blast.
Oh yeah.
And vanilla, I think attunements are like they're just part of your character's journey. You know what I mean? And if you make everything account bound or you don't have like long attunements, you just feel a little bit less attached to your character. It becomes a little bit more like retail where your character is not a character, it's just an extension of you the player. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that is I like leaning into the RPG elements of the game a lot.
Yeah.
So
I
Me
agree.
too.
and if they're not, again, if they're not going to level 70 and you're always going to be running around these same areas, what's the rush? Do the thing. You know what I mean?
I think people often forget that people who even consider themselves like super sweaty players still love like the RPG aspect of WoW. Like people think there's two different, like either you're just this sweat guy who like min maxes and Warcraft logs, or you're someone who likes RP, you like lore, and you like leveling. Those people exist. They like both. And I'm one of them. I think we're all one of those people. And I think it's important that the game, cares about that. With attunements, like I joked around, like obviously I don't want to find Rexar and like the Onyxia attunement, but I think Saw did an attunement for Cares and Crypts, and I thought that was super fun. I thought that was that it was like you traveled all across Azeroth. You went to zones they didn't like use, like you went to Grim Batol, right, or the area by Grim Batol, and I think that's a good like idea and blueprint for like attunements in C+.
I also think main focus, like I think that the problem with attunements isn't necessarily the attunement itself. It's that most people nowadays will play more than one character. Maybe not most, but a lot of people play more than one character, and it's this expectation of repetition that they don't like.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a consequence of lack of content.
Yeah.
So if you were going to make a game in an ideal world, there's enough things for you to do where you just do the attunement once and it's not a big deal and it's fun. And it's just this thing you can check off, and then you have all these stretch goals on your main to do. And if you're really an overachiever, maybe you have an ult. I
mean-
think that's kind of how I think it should be. I think main focus is so good for the RPG, and it puts you into those like goals a lot more.
Somebody in chat said excellent class quests are better than attunements, and I mean, it makes me think like, could you maybe combine them? So like, some attunements have elements of class specific stuff within, so that you can keep some parts of the attunements for everybody, but like every other quest is a little bit different, and then it kind of reduces that. I don't know. I'm just pitching ideas now. I should just go to the website.
No, I think having something like, if you had something like Rock Dalar for every class.
God,
let's
yeah,
say,
they need they need that for
and you
sure.
needed to get that.
They need that for sure.
Quest. You needed to get that quest done in order to get attuned to something. Let's say 2 tiers above. You needed to have that.
I mean,
quest
there's
done or something.
Benediction and Rock Dalar in vanilla as like these 2 incredible class quests that nobody else has. And I remember, I still to this day, I remember sitting in geometry class, and I was write out every single consumable I needed for my Benediction quest when I had my Eye of Shadow and my Eye of Divinity. And I was like so excited to do it. I had like 20 oils of immolation and all this shit. And like, it's just like burned into my memory of like the joy. I've said joy a lot this podcast, of just like prepping and being excited about it. And I think, every class should have 1 or 2 of those, I think, because they are so much fun.
Yeah. Sod did a good job. I'm saying Sod a lot. Sorry. I love Sod. They added those class quests and Blackwing Lair. But I think with attunements, as long as like, I think it's cool to have them be long. I think the fear of, you can't do them on an alt is just solved by you put the attunements in places that people are frequently in. Like maybe part of the attunement, goes to Black Rock Depths or some new dungeon that people always want to farm something there. And just as long as you can make it so like it's not hard to find a group for the attunement because there are people who are always wanting to do that content for some different reason.
Okay, let's go to leak of the week. Yeah, we're gonna play a little thing, and then Joardee is gonna tell us about this incredible leak he found. Give me a second.
Hi-ho.
Leak of the week.
Yeah, this comes from a guy on the MMO Champion forums named Ice Storm. MMO Champion, notoriously always correct for what future expansion's coming out. But in this leak, not reading the whole thing verbatim, the big things on here is that there are no new races at launch. Paladin and Shaman are still going to be faction exclusive, with minor changes to hybrid classes, nothing crazy like Sod, no new roles like Sod did, like Warlock Tank, Mage Healer, or Rogue Tank, whatever. Level up raids are coming back, and every dungeon is reworked. 25 is SFK, 40 is Oldemon, and 50 is Zul'Farrak. Heroic dungeons will be making a comeback, but they're going to be 10-man raids, converting 5-man endgame dungeons as these heroic dungeons, meaning it's 1 difficulty here. Like Skullomance, Dire Maul, Upper Blackrock Spire, even Meriden or Maradin, I forget which one it properly is. And something called the Halls of Oldemon, so I'm assuming that's a new dungeon, with the same difficulty as level up raids with daily lockouts. At the bottom, 2 Caverns of Time instances. Not sure, the Ice Storm says, not sure if 5-man dungeons or 10-man raids yet. Battle of Grim Batol, where we're transformed into dwarves, humans, and high elves. So like when you become a human in Durnhold Keep, Cavern of Time dungeon, to aid Ronan, Falstead, and Varisa in fighting the Dragon Maw clan, and then a fight for Blackrock Spire, where we assist Orgrim Doomhammer in fighting the Shadow Council. And the most important thing, a release date, October 29th.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
Which one are you booing? Ahmpy,
It's just too crazy of a. It's just too crazy of a thing, dude. It's just.
I don't really like level up raids unless they're locked and like you scale back with like a level 40s gear, and you can do it again at like level 60.
So you could always have people helping you out then, right? You don't have to wait for someone to.
I think that, but like worst case, I don't like leveling rates. I don't think there's a good way to make them work.
I
So
thought
this
level
says
upgrades
this
were
says
cool.
level up raids, but not level bands.
Oh,
I'm
so
asking.
I thought
does it have like level caps along the leveling journey, or is it just?
I'm pretty sure it was like it's. Hold on, where is it? Level upgrades, phases, level locked phases. I kind of like the idea of level up raids where you just do the raid once and your experience bar comes back up and you boost to the next level. Thoughts? We're mid on that one. Okay, good to know. Taking that one back.
I just feel like it's too. This is just too much. It's just like I would be disappointed that they went this far. You know what I mean? I want them to color within the lines a little bit. This just feels.
I think they
too zany.
the first three is like, hey, no new races, paladin and shaman exclusive, and minor changes to hybrid classes. Okay, you kind of got me in there. And then every dungeon is reworked. I'm like, well, okay, I don't know about that. And then these heroic 10-man dungeons. Was there anything you liked in this potential leak, Ahmpy?
I like the idea of 10-man content. I think that they should facilitate more like smaller, like 10-man difficult content. I think not necessarily difficult in the sense that it's like hard modes, maybe, but like, why can't you have something that's like the same difficulty as like AQ40 as a 10-man, right? Like 10-man dungeon that comes out with, say, that patch or something. And I think having these like sort of like smaller things are cool if they're accessory content, not necessarily primary content.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you're doing Ubers with the boys again in phase 4. I think that's cool.
Did you like the like heroic dungeon and TB their difficulty, or is that like not that kind of heroic
I think that
challenge?
difficulty is fine. Honestly, I think it's good. It's
I agree.
It's something you outgrow very quickly too. So like you can start doing heroics no problem. Once you're in like tier 5 gear, you're smashing heroics. Like it doesn't even matter. And I think that you should be able to see that character progression too, where your like character sort of outgrows the content with gear.
Yeah. Well, you, Joardee?
No new classes or races at launch just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I feel like, imagine you're a marketing person at Blizzard. You're going to want something shiny to put in the trailer.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
That is something that you're going to want to do. Sorry, good.
I was going to say, like, I almost feel like they need something. They need to go like either like Blood Elf or Highborn or some sort of like thing like that. I'm a little bit. I hope they do goblins.
Dude,
I hope goblins.
I'm just an ogre. I'm ogre. It's all I care about is ogre. It's ogre.
No way, dude. You're an ogre maxer.
We're ogre maxing hard. I mean, imagine somebody made this joke. I'm stealing it. Body type 1 is one-headed ogre. Body type 2 is two-headed ogre. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh,
gear models.
So just they'll fucking deal with it. Relax. You're not a developer.
No, it's too much work,
you're not a developer. You don't know what's too much work. Just
make new models.
be a fucking greedy consumer and just fucking demand it. It's fine. They'll figure it out.
All right, they add Volpera.
I'm against Volpera.
Chill.
I just want stuff that's in Warcraft 3 ultimately. So like I'd be okay with goblins, but ogres I feel like are the most like they're everywhere in Warcraft 3. Ogre Magi.
I think Blood Elves are the most like Warcraft 3.
Yeah, for sure. Blood Elves should absolutely be, or Blood Elves and High Elves. Yeah.
There's no way.
I think next is Naga. I think Naga is more prevalent in Warcraft 3 than ogres.
So the thing about Naga, and I
don't think either work.
I'm not saying Naga can't work, but like, do you play as a Naga? I don't think you ever do unless it's like Sylvanas' Naga, right? Or Illidan's Naga, I think, in Warcraft 3.
I just think being a Naga.
I mean, you control them, though.
A tank warrior Naga would be badass. Like, I just picture like a one arm polearm and the shield in my hand. Oh, that'd be awesome, dude. Getting goosebumps right now.
I just feel like ogres are what Windata is saying. Windatar. Ogres are like part of the Horde. It's literally part of the Horde currently. Like in Warcraft 3, it just feels bad that they're not in the game.
What do they mount though?
Oh, what do they mount?
Chicken or something.
Let me show you what they mount. We
Oh no!
Fucking-
You're gonna show me that.
Piece in my Classic Plus project Discord posts 10 of these a day of what they mount. I'll pull it up one second. Keep talking.
I think a given is high elves. Like I think that's just like it's so
Yeah.
obvious with the blood elf model. It's easy to do because there's that whole thing that Steven's been data mining, like the Shendorai, which thinks it's always like children of the sky. I'm speculating it's a new elf race that's not the four. Ebonheart was talking about this, the elf races. That it just makes sense. Like obviously they're pretty and maybe they're neutral, so everyone gets to be an elf, which I don't know how I feel
I
about
think they
that.
could just easily do like 2 factions of elves. Like you could do like the high elves and then the blood elves. You could like easily add them to Alliance Horde, and then everybody gets elves.
But do you think that they're gonna do Paladin and Shaman stay exclusive, or do you really think it's gonna switch off? Like
No
will the Horde-
way, dude. Okay, that's just too much, man. Nobody's riding around on a tyrant devil sword, man. That's sick, though.
I don't like how happy he looked. He kind of scared me. That looks more realistic.
That's better.
Not a fan.
I actually think that's better. Like the big bear mount, like from when you kill the leaders in Wrath of the Lich King and you get like the black bear mount, that could be an ogre mount.
But how big would they be? You got to scale all the rooms. They're not going to fit through doors.
Good.
Like
Honestly, in EverQuest they have ogres, okay, and they don't fit through doorways sometimes, and they have to get shrunk to fit through doorways.
Wait, really?
Yes,
EverQuest ogres.
this is true. I could see the board too.
These are some ugly motherfuckers.
You know what? I'm ogre maxing now too. You convinced me, Joardee. I actually, and you should be able to like your belly is never covered by anything. You can't wear a tabard, and you should be able to tattoo it.
So the belly stops right here at the chest, and you put it on.
Yeah. Your tabard just goes to one side.
Your chest armor's on your shoulder instead. Oh, I don't know. I think Jordy's won me over too.
I think they could also do allied races. You know, you could do like the red orcs for Horde. I feel like that
You
would
think
be
so?
sick.
That's not too retail-y for you, like allied. Like
I don't
just
think
its
so.
own-
I mean,
okay.
like it's just like a different orc, like cosmetic. You could put
Yeah.
Maghar orc, maybe. Yeah.
They get a different racial or the same one?
There's so much that they have to
The
get
whole
done.
thing on racials.
I feel like that
Oh,
allied
I wanna hear
races
that.
feel very like you got a lot of business to do before you get in allied races. Like ogres, goblins,
I can agree.
Worgen, all the
Yeah.
elves, maybe Naga. There's like a ton of stuff, and I don't know. I just don't feel like allied races are something you should necessarily.
Allied races
do.
made me lose hype for like an expansion giving a new race because like it's still on YouTube and I'm a nerd and still watch this. I still watch sometimes the Cataclysm announcement trailer from BlizzCon, and you just hear the reaction of the audience when they announce Worgen and Goblin. It's insane, and you just don't get that anymore with like races.
Yeah.
Fucking Dyrub, dude. Fucking piece of shit Dyrub makes a scooter ogre to remind me of my failure. Fuck you.
You know what? That actually kind of fits.
Just don't hit a steel plate and break your pelvis and shoulder. Okay, let's move on to Rennie is going to she prepared a presentation for us, and we're all going to watch and then judge the presentation and the subject of it. So make sure we have the stream open, Joardee and
Got you.
Ahmpy, because it's incredible. So here, wait, let me go back to the 3-shot. And Ahmpy, do you have your gavel and your wig ready? I'm just kidding.
I'm ready to judge.
I'm just kidding. Okay, here we go.
In the Azrothian justice system, creating drama is considered especially heinous. The dedicated hosts who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Loot and Order Unit. These are their stories.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today's case comes to us from a listener named Dan.exe, and it's a classic, pun intended, tale from the battle for Azeroth. Dan is brand new to raiding at this point, first time ever stepping into a raid, and he rolls up as an arms warrior, which, if you remember from BFA balance patches, was not exactly a first pick spec. But hey, he finds a small, chill, casual, friendly guild. They vibe, they knock out some Mythic Plus together, and eventually they push into oldier normal. And here is where the case gets interesting. This raid team runs on 4 key players, 2 tanks, beloved, encouraging, explain the mechanics types, and a raid leader who communicates exclusively through /yell in text, in all caps, every single wipe. Now, naturally, someone asks the obvious question: why doesn't the raid leader just talk in voice chat, like a normal person leading a raid? And the answer is, they claim to not have a working mic in 2018. So the yelling keeps piling up, and slowly, one by one, people start quietly slipping out of the guild. And here is my favorite detail in the entire story. The raid leader, the Shadow Priest, is consistently pulling less damage than the healers. The angriest person in the raid. Also, statistically the worst player in the raid. Every pull. And it gets better. The raid leader's girlfriend, also a healer on the team, takes it upon herself to verbally rip into everyone else's performance. Out loud, in voice. Despite the 2 of them being, again, statistically, the 2 worst performers on the entire roster. Meanwhile, the tanks and a few others start floating alternative strategies for some of the tougher pulls, like normal, healthy raid problem-solving things. And the raid leader just shuts it down every time. /yell. We do it my way, no exceptions. No exceptions. From the guy losing the DPS meters to healers. Now, the turning point. They clear the first 3 raids of BFA. Classic WoW gets announced. And almost the entire roster, except shockingly, the raid leader, wants to jump ship to Classic. Morale for retail, and for this guy specifically, is basically on life support. So what's the guild to do? They buy him a mic. Not as a joke, as an intervention. The plan is, get him actually talking, hash out the guild's future, air every grievance like adults. Someone genuinely goes out, buys the mic, and hands it over. He refuses to use it. No reason given, just no. And that is the moment the dam breaks. Months of frustration all coming out at once, right there in guild chat. And Dan, our submitter, decides he's done. Hit /G quit mid-argument. He messages the tanks right after, and they tell him, yeah, we're right behind you. And that's it. The guild is effectively over. Dan says he hasn't spoken to anyone from that guild since. He just hopes that the raid leader either isn't leading raids anymore, or at the very least, finally learned how to plug in a headset. What does the court deem the defendant?
So yeah, I don't know if this one's that difficult to judge. Why do you think somebody wouldn't want to use a mic? I just don't understand. Maybe the room they're in is bad, or they're like a 12-year-old.
No, they probably just don't like their voice.
Yeah, they're probably 12. I was what they called a squeaker in vanilla. My guild called me a squeaker, even though I was not the youngest person in the guild. Have you ever bought a piece of gear for somebody in your guild just to solve the issue?
Yes.
That is crazy. Dude, I think he was actually doing his job as a raid leader. I'm not gonna lie. He was raid leading, I bet. And that's why his DPS was low.
Sure.
To be fair,
that's why I got a healer.
Yeah,
he's typing /yell, probably doing it by hand, no macros, right? So /y space, and then entering everything while mechanics are happening.
I mean,
that's a fair point.
There's that great meme of the 12-year-old me helping a 35-year-old guy through his divorce or whatever, and I feel like this applies here. It's this person must have been young or something. But yeah,
I think it's interesting that they want a raid lead, but they don't want to use a mic.
Yeah, why would you want a raid lead? Just don't. I mean, it's just power trip shit. I don't know.
What do you get in BFA? Was there some sort of cool thing for rating you got? I can't imagine that would just go to him first.
there's definitely people I know that are like, I'm gonna raid lead this expansion because it's Warglaves. Like, and then they go like,
yes,
That's just smart.
and then they go back to like not caring for the next expansion for whatever reason. Like, so yeah, if you want to submit a story that you have drama over the years, please. There's a Google form that we have. We'll post it in the description, and it's in the chat right now. Give us a good write up, and we will dramatize it. Ren will give it a good read, and we'll all watch it together. Pod.
Yeah, and shout out Rennie for making all that editing and stuff. That's awesome. It's hilarious.
Good job, Ren. I feel like we need gavels. We need to get everybody a gavel.
You can get the gavel back from Jerome that you sent him.
Oh yeah, I bought Jerome a gavel. It's embossed with no hit Jerome. Last on the charts, first in our hearts. And yeah, that's accurate, I think.
Because we were supposed to do a streamer thing together from Bob, and he just dropped the ball and all of that.
he just couldn't do loot for some reason in GDKP. Like he just like couldn't figure it out.
He would leave the GDKP not even buying anything with less gold as a host with the host.
Like way less gold. He would use his own gold all the time just to make up for mistakes.
Joardee, now that we're this far into it, I kind of know why. Because he gave me an extra cut that I wasn't supposed to get, and I never told him.
Okay, well, that's on you for being a dick. But like, he's such a nice guy. It's just infuriating getting him to do the right thing.
Professional rage baiter.
Yeah, the man's an artist. All right, we are almost done. We are going to really quick. We're going to start a quick new segment. It's called Your Favorite Item in World of Warcraft. We're going to watch G-Bay's favorite item really quick because we missed it last week, and then we're going to hear about Ahmpy's. G-Bay was nice enough to submit this, and we're going to watch his, which will be very different than Ahmpy's, I would guess.
All right, so the question is, what is my favorite item in World of Warcraft? And honestly, that's a hard one for me to answer since I'm still going through my first playthrough of Classic WoW, and I'm running into so many items that I had no idea they ever existed. And it's been very fun to run into so many of them, but through that lens, my favorite item would probably have to be the Cape of the Brotherhood, just because the very first dungeon I ever ran was the Dead Mines. My experience going through that, I was too scared to need roll on any of the loot until the very end, where I need rolled on the Cape of the Brotherhood, dropped by Edwin Van Cleef at the very end. And I think I was level 20 when I finished that dungeon. And maybe it's just because I'm still a noob and I don't know where anything better is, but I'm still using that cape now well into the mid-30s. I haven't seen another cape that's better than it, and having a single item that I've kept with me for so long that I'm always staring at, looking at my character model and seeing that cape draped over his back, it's grown. I've grown attached to it. It's been a really fun item to take with me through so much of my journey.
All right, thanks, G-Bay. Cape of the Brotherhood's pretty good item, I think, to pick, because you really do use it a while, right? I feel like Cruel Barb maybe as a warrior would be better. I don't know. What's the best item you could get in Dead Mines?
Staff of Westfall, baby.
I mean, it's guaranteed though, so
That's why it's the best.
So then, Cape of the Brotherhood is the best drop.
I don't know, man.
No,
when I had
no.
a twink,
Lavish
twink
Jeweled Ring.
rogue, Cruel Barb was awesome.
Two-handed weapon from
The cookie
Smitty.
wand.
No, you'll use the staff. You're not going to use the.
I think
My
it's Cruel
Smitty
Barb.
hammer.
That's an iconic, like your first
But you
blue
don't-
one-hander.
But you don't one hand as a warrior. At that
Well, I got it for a warrior. Sorry, for a warrior. Yeah. Oh, bro, I don't give a shit. What's better? Cruel Barb. It looks
You're
sick.
such a fuck. Yeah. Okay. Ahmpy, what is your favorite item in all of World of Warcraft?
Bag of marbles.
Yeah, I figured that would be it. I just kind of felt it.
I thought so too, actually.
We talked about Bag of Marbles last week because G-Bay sold his. And he vendored it.
Yes.
Because he just didn't.
He's gotta
He
re-roll.
just didn't know. You know, he's a new player. He doesn't understand that that's ungettable. What about Bag of Marbles do you love?
So I think it's not necessarily like, obviously I think Bag of Marbles by itself is the strongest item in the game. Like, you can use Bag of Marbles and all of a sudden a rogue can tank any boss as long as they just do melees. We actually had the strategy around Bag of Marbles and rogue tanking patchwork. Theoretically, you can get a pre-raid rogue with only like one item from ZG, and you get dodge capped if you roll Night Elf and have 100% Bag of Marbles uptime. And so we were gonna cheese it in Frontier. We were originally gonna cheese it with 39 ranged DPS and 1 rogue, so nobody's getting hateful. And we were gonna do that, but it never ended up coming out. That was why LMGD played Night Elf. But outside of that, I think the implications of doing a quest in Goldshire having an effect on your level 60 character in raids shows how interconnected the whole world was. It's not necessarily I don't think
They did not
it to be like that.
They did. There's no way they meant that. But
right, but it's just
great thing.
How meaningful these random items you come across can actually be, and there's a lot of them, like boggling roots being used in top end parsing to give you +1 damage, and it's like a level 7 quest reward, you know, and
magic dust, right?
That's kind of like the epitome of classic to me. That, like, you know, you can find meaning in all these like random items. Magic dust, you know, another crazy consumable.
I mean, magic dust is broken.
People use it on like KT.
I know, you use it in TBC a lot. I mean, you use it in Sunwell Plateau on the trash. Like, it's very common to break one of the casts. I can't remember which one it is, but and obviously in Tempest Keep with the spinny shit. But I agree. The really, really fun aspect of everything being good in some way is really cool. And then once you've used it, it's gone. I think feels really good, and it feels like your character has like a story. It's an RPG, and how many do you have left? What's the story of each one that you used? Like, it's really fun. If Classic Plus comes out, I really hope there's a lot of stuff like this. It does make me a little nervous that people are going to have to re-roll for prog every single time to get whatever it is. You know what I mean? That just sounds like some sweaty shit Beef Bar or Progress or Newman would do. But like...
Yeah, like your Light of Balloons.
Yeah, and like every single tier, you would have to go and make a new character. Have it ready to go for whatever reason. But like, that's the kind of stuff I love, personally.
Yeah, it's not required, but it's an extra step that you can use. It's cool. Yeah.
I kind of like that in hardcore WoW when you have this like trinket collection. You've got your Bag of Marbles, your target dummies, maybe you have bombs, you got your Light of a Loon ready, your stock and potions. You have this like whole collection of like utility items you just carry around with you or in your bank.
I mean, it's the RPG of it. It just it feels really fun. It leans more towards like Baldur's Gate than it does like.
I was thinking that too. Yeah. When you were talking about like the one-time use and then it's gone.
Super fun.
But it's just cool. It's just so cool. Like, that's Dungeons and Dragons approach. More of that.
Yeah.
Okay. We're all furiously agreeing. All right, we are
Ahmpy, permanent host. Found him.
Yeah. If Joardee and Red are gone, Ahmpy, you're gonna compose with me. Okay, last thing. We do a segment at the end of every show called One Cool Thing, where you can bring up something that isn't necessarily WoW related, just to kind of learn about your life. And it could be WoW related, but whatever. So let's talk about a one cool thing of the week. Joardee, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I recently got into wanting to collect old stuff, and I wanted to show off what's the start of my collection. And this is stuff I had in the 90s. One of my favorite movies of all time is Small Soldiers. And I still have a working Major Chip Hazard, the actual voice box, which is behind me right now, still has Tommy Lee Jones' voice on it. The Archer Gorgonite does not work anymore, though, but the Major Chip Hazard still works. And then on the right is an OG Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story 1, not the new ones, the one that came out in the 90s. And my name's actually written on the bottom of it, like Andy. But me and my brother both have one. We both had a Woody. I lost mine. He still has his Woody, and it has our name underneath. But yeah, and the next one I want to get is Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way, because that's my favorite Christmas movie. And I had one, but I gave it to like a family friend when they were a kid because they loved it too. And I'm like, can I have that back? And they lost it, unfortunately. But that's next on my to-do list, is to get a Turbo Man. That's my one.
I
cool
loved
thing.
Small
I'm pretty
Soldiers.
sure I had
also.
that middle guy as a kid.
Archer,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah.
You ever seen Small Soldiers?
I'm sure I did as a kid, but
I love that.
I'm
I could
pretty
watch
sure
that
it
movie
sounds
whenever.
familiar. That's where
I
the
love
like
that movie
the like army figurines.
They're
like,
action figures.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
and they like fight an alien race, which I think it's
Yeah.
these guys, right? It's these guys versus the Commandos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Gorgonites.
Was it CG or was it claymation or was it like
It was
stop
CG.
motion? It was fully CG. Okay. I can't remember. Well, cool, dude. Good luck finding the other two. If anybody has a hookup
Turbo Man.
on Turbo Man, hit up Joardee. All right, I'll go next. As I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, I was in the hospital for a week and then I was in physical therapy inpatient for another week. You learn a lot about the world. And, you know, the nurses have various random facts that they throw at you. And I was not, they call it cathed. I was not cathed ever, for the record, which is when they insert a tube up your urethra so that you can just pee freely and not just wet the bed, right? I was never cathed, for the record. But the nurse that I had at one point, she was very cute. Her name was Isabel. Isabel, if you're around, hit me up. She told me about a new version of a male catheter that I thought was really cool. And it excited me because I'm going to get old and I'm going to have to get cathed at some point. And it scares the shit out of me of getting a tube shoved up my dick hole. So there is a new catheter that is an external catheter, just like the space station might have. It's just like a bag with a vacuum inside of it, and it just sucks it all up.
That is
Oh.
crazy, bro. What is this?
Oh.
The QIVI external catheter for men. So you don't have to get a tube up your dick. You just pee into this bag and then it vacuums it up and you're good to go. So men rejoice. As we get older, we're not going to have to worry about it. And now you know, science is amazing, technology is amazing, and medical science technology is the amazingest.
That guy's face looks so bad.
I mean, he should be happy, dude. He doesn't have to get cathed now. It's incredible.
Oh my god.
I
Joardee.
thought I would
Whatever.
share that with you. I was excited that I didn't have to ever get cathed. So, yeah. Okay, now you know. And Ahmpy, what is your one cool thing of the week?
It's actually some footage.
Fuck yeah, send it.
I can just stream it on my cam.
Yeah. Sure. In Discord?
No, just on my camera. I'm using OBS virtual cam.
Oh,
so I
okay.
just-
Let me.
Oh.
Okay, this is something I miss in Classic, running as a raid. So to get to the raid, you have world buffs ticking, or we have world buffs here. And to get to the raid, we would all group up in Ironforge. We'd count down and fly out together, and we'd do a run. And so this is just some footage of us doing that. And this would be like, you know, we had more than one raid day. So we'd have like the alt raids come in just for PvP, and we'd all be in comms and we'd be like scouting, and we had people dead at Black Rock Mountain. It it's just like an experience that I wish Classic could kind of like bring this sort of, I don't know, like guild function again. So this is just like what it would look like every single raid day. We'd have.
Why'd you guys
You know,
go in through
40
Lock One On?
There were people camping the Thorium Point here.
Is this still on Stalag? Looks like
Yeah,
you're in.
this is Stalag.
Yeah. So
This is early Stalag. So
I was
like this is like week. You know, like
you're
5.
geared.
Yeah, this was, and it says the date, October 22nd. So this is right after Dire Maul comes out.
I've got another one of these videos.
Yeah, so I have this, and then I also have a video of like Azure Ghosts, but this is, I think I missed this more.
Yeah, this is
The whole like
peak
running
world
together is
PvP,
crazy.
for me, because it was goal oriented, and it also had to do with PvP, and like
Yeah,
it felt like
trying to safely
like,
get your guild in, so they're not getting griefed or.
it also kind of like running the bowls, right? Where it's like every man for himself a little bit if things fall apart, because like you just try not to get sniped and all that. Damn, how did you have a Winter Spring Frost Saber on week 5? You fucking DJ.
No, we had a group of like 5 people that did it. God damn. So we have like, you can see Fusion's there. There's Afro, and there's Afro, and then there's a Pally as well. I forget his name right off the top of my head.
This is so.
I remember
yeah,
you guys.
This is so cool.
You guys had the. You were in the Mafia, the Double Star Mafia.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Look at the you can see the other Winter Sabers. Dude, that's so it's so peak.
Look at this. Yeah, this is peak. You just need the
formation.
You need Flight of the Valkyries.
Can't get sappered.
this is the one. This is the one thing that.
Yeah, let me play the musical.
40-man raid again.
But this is what I want. This is why I like large scale raids as well.
Yeah.
Because you get this sort of thing where you fly out together, you group up, you fly out, you run in. And Boons kind of killed this, to be honest.
It did.
But also, world buffs, you know, they're kind of lame to lose anyway. So
I'm so back and forth on 40-man rating, but seeing this is just, I don't know.
I mean, we had. Did you guys have
we got the slow mounts in the back.
Did you guys have a protection raid like we did?
Oh yeah,
It looks like
yeah.
you
You
did,
can see
yeah.
like all these people are the dark green names are the protection raid.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we had the same thing where one raid was in front, and it was the people not raiding that night, and the other raid was just behind them.
Yeah, and you can see we're all protection pot. I have a fire, frost, arcane, holy protection pots up for combat. Yeah, it's a blast.
So we're gonna get you all the way.
Is there a fight in this video?
I don't think so. This is just the run in. I didn't watch all of it because I was trying to pull it up during the.
Jordan, you can post the cannon fodder one. That's so good. It's got 40 folk in Discord too, man. It's all hyping it up.
Oh, we got like 80.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this run up, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, you guys were always really organized in a way that we didn't have the discipline of. Because I think you just had a lot of veterans from P server.
Yeah.
And there's a certain way you move your character that you only really get after a lot of time playing the game. You know what I mean?
Maybe there's a little combat. Like there's some corpses.
This shit is dope. Well, you're really risking it all, dude. I mean, you had scouters too up front. I'm sure you're saying.
Yeah, we have scouters, so they're calling. They're calling to come in.
They're like clear now. I guess the hunters have to go
Oh,
first.
there's trap ready.
Yeah. Hunters go flare front, and
You can just.
I'm just
create it if you
classic
have to.
fashion. I don't have a FAP on me, and I'm stuck in a route.
I'm surprised you guys aren't all wearing lightning helmets. I guess
Now we're rocket helming.
the rocket
Or
helmet.
we rocket helm sapper.
The rocket helmet gives you like a huge speed boost too, because you can like jump ahead.
Yeah, exactly. You rocket helm forward and
shark.
then sapper them.
Oh, you guys did down the chain too. That was the safe way. You never want to risk it. Even though like
Yeah, we
late
hold
late
gear,
phase,
make
you
sure that
do it.
everybody gets in, and then we go.
it's a war, dude. It's a war. You're trying to take over.
I think
this
maybe we're
spot.
protecting. I'm not sure in this situation because we're
You
not
don't-
going.
you don't have
went down the
full
chain.
world buffs, so
Yeah,
you just have DFT.
yeah. Maybe I was just doing dire maul.
Right, good shit.
That's awesome.
Times. We'll link. Do you have that uploaded to YouTube?
No, that's a local file. That's nowhere.
Nice.
That's exclusive.
It's Ahmpy exclusive. Okay. Well.
Wish you spot the too, Joardee.
Yeah, no, we're good. So I think that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for being here for the second episode of the Pull 10 podcast. We are going to be here next week with a guest who has a ton of Titan Reforged experience. Jake and Bake. He has the legendary dagger, which seems kind of interesting. We're going to learn about that and what's going on with GDKPs in China. And I'm very excited to hear about what he's learned as an American player from the way that China plays and what we should adopt. Because I think there's a lot of stuff that they do better than us in terms of organizing players. So
Everything.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But yeah, Ahmpy, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we're
really kind of you.
Yeah,
and
fun.
it was fun. I appreciate it. The this video will go up tomorrow for the live viewers if you guys want to catch that. And if you have any like criticism, hit us up on the Discord. We are very eager to improve. We just have like a ton of little things we're trying out. If you guys like it. I know it's a little bit cringe sometimes, but so yeah, that's it for this week. Thank you guys. And all of our socials are in the description. Ahmpy, do you want to shout anything out? Anything you want to promote or anything?
No, good.
Okay, cool. Oh, I want to say the Classic Plus project is selling a t-shirt for BLIZZCon 2026. It's fucking incredible. I highly recommend it. I don't know if you guys have seen the design, but we're very, very proud of it. I'll pull it up real quick so you can see it. Or Journey can put it in edit. But
Yes.
have you seen this, Ahmpy?
I think so. The survey guy,
The
work guy with
Charlie.
survey, and then
Yeah, from the Always Sunny.
There. It's just got all of the little inside jokes of the development of Classic Plus. I want to believe. Holly, no. I can't believe they did that. That was just the worst joke. Zebix, Avaloran, Ogrezonia. Did you know the ogres come from a place called Ogrezonia?
That's real.
but that sounds accurate.
Isn't that dope? I really want to visit it and die to some snoo. We had Eben wanted for Classic Plus misinformation. We got the silhouettes of the streamers at the place. I'm surprised Ahmpy didn't get invited to that. Fuckers. Although I guess you couldn't hear it. Who knows? Who knows what happened?
All right.
All right, I'm done. So yeah, that's on the link is in the description down below. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate it.
y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ahmpy.
Thanks, dude.
Bye.
Bye.